Hello, and welcome to my space. I thought today I would take the time to reflect on my time at Oxford as a student. While I'm still at Oxford, I now work here. I did want to reflect on all the time I spent here as a graduate student. So, being a student at Oxford was one of the most amazing things, but also a lot of challenges came with it. So, I thought I would go into what I wish I knew before I came here. So, just to be clear, this is not a negative video, and I would still be here. Of course, this is Oxford. Even if I knew all the things, I think I would still want to experience it. No regrets, but there's quite a lot that I wish I did know. So, the most important thing coming from Pakistan and coming from a low income background, I think one of the biggest things for me was just how different the social life here was, how different a lot of people were. While I did find amazing friends and my cohort was really nice people filled with some of the most amazing people and the most brilliant scientists I've ever worked with, the social aspects, the differences, and the experiences everyone had were astoundingly different. So, one of the things I did feel was being from Pakistan, I think the biggest thing was just the concept of traveling, concept of experiences. So the funniest thing I found was people always having weekend plans, always having bank holiday plans, and actual travel plans. While being someone who needs a visa for most countries, that felt like conversations I could not participate in. While being extremely clear, it's not something like I cried over. It's just things that do shock you when you're coming from Pakistan or countries that are similar to Pakistan and you've never traveled outside before. So before coming to the UK, I had never ever traveled outside of Pakistan. So this was my first international experience in any case. So just seeing how people travel and how many countries they've already traveled to or what are their plans ahead, it just felt a bit weird, a bit different. And I did feel at some point that, okay, these are conversations I can not really contribute towards or really even comprehend because any travel for me requires months of planning, visa applications, thousands of documents. So that is one of the most striking difference of like how people manage their life and things they did outside of their PhD or outside of their work. But it definitely is a privilege. Passport privilege is a real thing. So I did feel that I could not participate in those conversations. And while it's not like people are bragging or I have anything against them, it's just a difference that I did find. On the same note, social life differences are also quite a big thing here because a lot of people at Oxford, while Oxford has admissions on merits, a lot of people here are rich. So just having those different classes of people, like different bandwidths of their financial statuses, is also quite a thing here. And this is again just my experience. Maybe other people would have different things to say, but as someone who came here as an international student, I felt that my experience taught me that there's an extreme different level of income streams or wealth among the students here. While on the graduate level, there are a high number of international students, which is really reassuring. You see people from Pakistan and our neighboring countries and all over the world essentially. But money is also a big thing. A lot of Oxford students are rich and their lifestyle is really different. So while I'm not someone who gets impressed by designer outfits or bags or jewelry, but living here, it does sometimes feel like a lot of things are still inaccessible to you. Um, Coming to similar points, you think that getting into Oxford or being here would completely change your life or open so many doors for you. While that is to some extent true, Oxford is a big name, it doesn't magically open all the doors for you. The struggle only begins when you get here. We think that getting into Oxford is such a huge thing. Just getting there would make you make it in life. But the truth is, the struggle actually begins after you get in. You have to constantly prove your worth. You have to constantly work really, really hard. The studies, the research, it's really competitive and really hard. While as a research student, your comparison is not so much with like because your research studies are your own. It's not a comparison with other people necessarily in terms of um, the work, but the amount of work, the ethic of your work, how much time you put in, especially lab based scientists in biology. It's like people are spending their weekends in the lab, work life balance gets a lot disturbed. So, just the amount of work you have to do, it's overwhelming, but also you find it really hard to rest because you feel guilty for resting, especially in my case, because I always did want to be someone like who could take holidays, who could take some time off, and I did on many occasions, but it just came with a lot of guilt that, oh, I should be working harder, I should be proving myself, and an Oxford student should be doing so much more. So that guilt never ends. So I think in my experience, just knowing these things, that how much you would find it difficult to see yourself there, how much you would find it difficult to relate with the people around you, and just how difficult life is here. I wish I did know these things before, because I always thought, oh, I can live alone. I do always like I did always know that I wanted to go abroad, study abroad, live alone. And while there are a lot of good things that come with living alone, such as your independence, a lot of responsibilities come as well. For example, in Pakistan, we always had some sort of like house help, or when I lived in hostels in Islamabad, we did have our laundry covered, a cleaner coming in to clean the rooms, which sounds like coming from a place of privilege, but just my own experience coming here and having to do all of those things myself, which again, everyone does it. It's not me uniquely, or I'm not complaining. I'm really grateful. I learned to cook, I learned to do all of life admin myself, but it just adds up to how much time you are giving to everything in your life. It's not just the studies. Living abroad as an international student, there's just so much more that gets added onto your plate that I think I had never really thought about, because back home it was like focus on your studies, go to college, go to university, just prepare for your exams and a lot of things, because living with family came with a lot of support. Food was always there. My mom would take care of laundry and stuff, and there would always be some help, or things would just get done. But here, having to get my own groceries, having to figure out how to manage groceries, how to what to get, how to cook. I didn't know cooking before I came to the UK, so I learned cooking here from YouTube, from asking my mom for recipes. So just so many things that I had to learn, which I am again really really grateful for. But I just had never really clocked how much time it all takes. Life admin takes a lot of time. So my weekends were mostly, as a student, most of my weekends were, if I'm not in the lab, it's just a lot of life admin, ironing my clothes, laundry, cleaning my room, cleaning the house, managing groceries, buying groceries, food prep for the week. So I used to do meal prep. So it's just so much gets added onto your plate. It is exhausting. So there's like no real resting period. And as I said, because I needed a visa, I do still need a visa for every place I go to, mostly. So my travels were very, very limited. I did travel a bit around the UK, but it's like you have to budget a lot. Travel within the UK is extremely expensive. And since I don't have the privilege of traveling to other countries, my social life was extremely limited. And I'm anyway an introvert, so making friends for me did not come easy. It's not that I didn't make friends, I am a friendly person, but making actual friends is not easy, especially with everyone being so busy, everyone having their calendars booked months in advance. It's really hard to find time to meet people, or to find the people who would agree to meet you on a certain date. So loneliness also hits really really hard. It gets to you doing life alone while studying, while having something as intense as a research degree, a PhD. It just adds on to the difficulty. So loneliness, social isolation, and just feeling out of place, because while there are a lot of international students here, just how busy everyone's just so busy, and everyone's just dealing with so many things that it becomes hard to find and build a community. Again, I was really lucky that I did find those friends in all these years I've been here, but it's a lot different than what we have back home in our own communities. Just the number of people available to go for an evening chai or meet you for dinner, that just does not happen here. So those things were remarkably different for me. And just again, feeling out of place. I think imposter syndrome never ever leaves. Knowing that you made it to Oxford, and while you own it, while I feel happy about it, I'm just so grateful that I got this chance. It's just the imposter syndrome, in my case, I felt never really ends. You constantly do feel like you have to prove yourself, you have to keep working hard. And there's just so many people with so many experiences from around the world that you feel like the competition is excessively intense, because everyone here is brilliant, everyone here has done so many internships, they've traveled the world, they have so many experiences that it becomes really consuming, especially if you're not careful. So it does take a toll on your mental health. It did for me at least. And you have to be very careful, otherwise, you can spiral if you're not careful with your thoughts, if you're not managing to stay positive. And while I'm not preaching toxic positivity, I wish I did know how to manage my own expectations of myself, because I, being someone who always wants to be a high achiever, who always wants to prove themselves to be the best. And I think a lot of the people at the universities like Oxford, Cambridge, and the Ivy Leagues or Russell Group in the UK do feel the same way, that they want to be the best at what they do, but it's an exhausting journey. It's something that you have to really take with a pinch of salt. You can't be the best at everything. And I learned it the hard way. So I think this is something I did wish I knew before. Just learning to regulate your emotions, learning to regulate your expectations of yourself, and basically learning to take a break, breathe, be easy on yourself. So I think I wish I did know all of these things before. While even if I had known, I think, of course, I would have taken the chance. I would have come to Oxford, and I am beyond grateful for this journey. But yeah, knowing these things or learning to regulate with this kind of situation would have been really good, because while all of this was happening, it did feel like a battle. I did feel like, oh, I've challenged myself beyond my depth, and it didn't feel great on most days. But again, I'm glad it's over and I'm grateful for the journey. But I really do wish I had known how difficult it would be for me to make friends. How difficult would it be to find a social life that works for me, just to have friends around, or to just find out what works for me, find out how to relax, just learn how to manage life when there's so many things going on. You need to manage a house, you need to manage your personal life, your professional life, and constantly being worried about what's next, how do I manage finances. There is just so much, it can get overwhelming. So while I did not know all these things, now I know better, and I wish that other people who are going to study abroad, it's a beautiful journey, but I do wish that everyone does learn these things or just think about these things beforehand. And I just wish everyone a good journey ahead. Uh, I just wish people would do the best they can but not be hard on themselves. It's going to be okay. Now being on the other side, now being on a job here, I can tell you that there is always something. Then you become like really obsessed with job hunt, with other things going on in your life. So there will always be something, and it's all going to turn out to be okay. While I learned this the hard way, I wish I knew this before, but I would do this journey all over again if given the chance. Thank you so much for listening if you've listened to the end, and I wish to share more of my story. If you have any questions or comments, please do let me know, and I look forward to getting in touch with you again. Bye.